There it is.
The red light. Yeah.
Yeah, Jay.
A red light. There's
We're
no
back.
eyeballs. There's no eyeballs though.
We're back,
right?
baby.
We're back. I like how your backlight, you and Lund, your backlight matches my Toronto Blue Jays hat for our guest over here who's from Toronto-ish.
Oh.
Maybe. Well, we'll get there. Oh, we're live. Lindsay, we're live. It's Tuesday. We're back. We're a week late. Oh, man. Gabriel, will you roll the intro? Take it away, Andy.
What time is it? What time is it? It's prime time. It's prime time. What time is it? What time is it? Well, it's prime time. Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome back. This is a guitar nerd talk show called Primetime. We've been doing it forever. It feels like it, doesn't it? But we're glad to be back again to talk to you about guitars and nerdy stuff and have some fun. Tonight we're very happy to have Mr. Tyler Robertson with us, Robotics Engineer.
Robots.
Ooh, I don't know anybody who has that title. And that's Lindsay Love in the blue. And the top, my top, Mr. Jay Parkin. What's up, Jay?
Hi. We did it. We got back. We did this thing again. Primetime thing. We missed last week. I want to apologize for that. We missed last week because Lindsay and I were, well, I wasn't, you weren't there on Tuesday. I was, anyway, we had to shoot this. We had this big video production.
Yeah.
Apparently in January, people like to put out new guitars.
Who?
We might be doing that. You guys might hear some news soon. In fact, next week, we're going to have Aaron Dablow back on and we're going to talk about what's new for 2022. New for 22. That's what we're calling it. Anyway, Tyler, welcome to the show. Welcome to Taylor Primetime. It's a guitar nerd talk show. You're a nerd.
Thank you. It's the most prestigious show a nerd like me could get on.
Right?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a compliment.
It was. Yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Was that sarcastic?
No.
The Happy New Year, maybe?
But no. This is the best, the top of shows you can get on.
Most prestigious.
It's most prestigious. As far as someone who's like a guitar nerd, I don't. Well, maybe I don't get out much. I don't know.
All right.
You tell me.
I'll take it. We'll take it.
I think it's Ty. We're gonna get to know you in a little bit. We have this show and we do these things and we got these segments. So we're gonna go through that really quick. We talk way too much. Everybody yells at us for talking way too much. We chit chat too much. That's what I hear. What I hear around here these days. Anyway,
we do.
So welcome back, everybody. Welcome everybody in the feed. Happy New Year, Rob. We see you. Happy New Year. Yes. I am wearing a Toronto Blue Jays hat for my man Tyler, real over there, real quick. Okay, Andy, how are you, Andy?
I'm well, Jay. I'm excited to have another trip around the sun. Like everyone else. Yeah. Happy New Year to y'all.
Okay.
Missed you guys tremendously.
Where are you?
Same.
Tonight I'm in the Northwoods.
Oh. Last time you were in the Northwoods too.
Maybe in the Northwoods last year. Yeah.
The dad joke. I really wanted to say the dad joke. I haven't seen you since last year.
Yeah, Rich will take care of that next time he's on. He'll catch us
Yeah.
up with the quotas of dad jokes.
Lindsay, how are you?
I'm good, Jay. I'm
That's
great.
good. You're great.
Yeah.
She's great. I really like how you
Great.
color coordinated your backgrounds with my
Yeah.
background. Okay.
You know, I
That's
didn't
amazing.
know you were wearing a blue hat today, but it totally makes sense now that I realize he's from Canada. Yeah.
He's from Canada. You know, you'll figure it out in a minute too.
Okay.
He's totally from Canada. It's amazing.
Yeah. Hey.
I love having Canadians on the
It
show.
comes up. I bring it up all the time, and I don't know why, but it just Canadians like mentioning they're from Canada. I don't, they need to get that out there all the time.
It's so true. I'm from Canada, and
Like,
also
in Canada.
yeah, in Canada, like it's so far away. Like Andy Lund is pretty much in Canada right now.
Pretty close. I'm the closest.
Yeah,
Close.
yeah, that's true.
Close enough.
I love it. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about robots and guitars, or robots versus guitars. We'll get there in a second. Reminder: there's trivia at the end of the show. For previous trivia winners, I need to make a statement. At the last month of the year, right? Last month, fourth quarter, it's really important for us to ship out guitars that have been sold. Yeah. So some of your trivia prizes have been delayed. They will be shipping in the next few days, few weeks, if you haven't already got them, but they're on their way. Don't hate. No hate. Welcome to the show, Tyler. Welcome back, Lindsay. Welcome, Andy. We got that done. Okay, intros are done on my list here. Second, reminder, let's keep the feed chill, right? We don't want to put you in timeout. Okay, we got that. The trivia prize tonight is a Taylor Sense Smart battery box. Tyler knows a little bit about that. Okay, First segment we're going to roll into. Andy.
Yes.
Hug your haters. I feel like it would be an opportune time to talk about this segment we call the Hug Your Haters.
Right.
We didn't really get hate, but we kind of got hate. Here, let me explain how we got hate. I'm the hater. It's my fault, really, that we weren't on last week. Last Tuesday, was January 11th, 2022.
Right.
Most of you know, if you watched the last episode with Daria Musk, that January 11th is my mother's birthday. Hi, Mom. I know you're watching. Hi, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Mom, we told you we were going to have a show and celebrate your birthday with you on Primetime, but we didn't. Andy?
Yes, Jay.
Will you help me? Will you help me out with a little hug your haters here? I don't think we don't need a useless clip. I said we were going to play a useless clip. Let's go right into the song. Is that fine?
Right down to it. Okay.
Okay. Take it away, Andy.
Jay might need a hug today.
I need a hug.
Because he missed his mother's birthday. We were supposed to do a show last week, but he double booked and missed his mother's birthday. So Jay, we should sing to her now, right? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jay's mom. Happy birthday to you. A week late. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
This is the best comment yet. It's so good. What the hell am I watching, Tyler? Matt?
That's going to be next week's hate right there.
This is no, this is so good. We appreciate that question. This is what we call the corniest guitar nerd talk show on the planet. All right.
That's Matt. Matt was our friend, our music periphery friend when we were all into punk, and Matt wasn't, but he would come to shows with us, and he was kind of like the example of a guy who had his life together.
Yeah.
So him asking me that, I'm just like, yeah, Matt, this is the way it looks.
This is the way it looks. It gets worse.
Yeah.
It gets worse, but we'll get there. Okay. Mom, happy birthday. 82 looks good on you. All right. Now we've done that. Okay, check that off here. What are you listening to? Tyler, this is a segment where we just go around and we talk about what we're currently listening to. We have a useless video clip that Gabriel is going to play. And then, Andy, do you have a song?
Yep.
Okay. Then Andy's going to play a corny song, a really good corny song. And then we're going to go around in a circle and talk about what we're listening to. So, Gabriel, take it away.
Did you turn up the bass? Did it shake your whole place? Did you stand up and sing? Did you forget everything? And how about you? How about you? And what are you listening to? What are you listening to?
Aha. Thank you, sir. Tyler, what have you been listening to lately?
Well, when you said that, I just pulled up my phone to look at what I've been listening to, just to remind myself. And actually, just recently, I was back on a big. Have you ever heard of the band Yob?
Yes.
Yeah. So I got to talking to Mike from Yob online, and really cool guy. Really interesting talking to him, and so I was like, wow, geez, I haven't listened to Yob in a little while. So I put on some of those albums again, and man, if you like metal, they're like one of the best. Really great. So, and their song Marrow, if you start it right at my parking space behind my house, it gets me directly to the gate at work. So from start to finish. So it's perfect. That and the Constantines, because I'm always listening to the Constantines, always. So they're a Canadian, kind of the best modern Canadiana band, I guess, going. Canadian rock, alt. I don't know. One of those. Alt Canadiana. There we go. There's the genre.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Lindsay, we got to put that in our AR roster diversity list. Canadiana.
Yeah.
Yep. Canadiana music.
Lindsay.
It exists. I've tried to define it, but it's undefinable.
I love it.
That's funny.
Lindsay, what are you listening to?
Well, I listen to a bunch of stuff, Jay, but I think most recently, I was listening to a lot of Joseph Solomon, because he's an artist we've been working with, and so his 2020 album and his new song that he just released, Joseph Solomon. He's like an R&B artist. But the thing that's honestly going to get the most plays, it'll probably end up on my Spotify Wrap, because my daughters are always in my car, is the Encanto soundtrack, which slaps, dude. The Encanto soundtrack. My kids make me play it everywhere.
Yeah.
And Lin-Manuel Miranda is just he's a genius. He's good.
It's pretty dark. It's pretty darn good.
My
daughter makes me listen to it as well. So
that's what I'm listening to.
But I try and anyway. You got me though. Like, it's really good. I agree. But
it is good. It's good. It's not your style, but it's very good.
Right. It's not Canadiana either. Andy, what are you listening to in the North Woods?
I don't even know what you guys are talking about, so I'm not even going to ask a question. So I'm going back.
Watch it, Andy.
Huh? Is it a movie or something?
Go watch Encanto. It's a Disney movie. It's brilliant. It's actually really good. You should watch it.
It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I made a pact to go back through my Joni records.
Oh.
So right now I'm checking out this 1975 release called "The Hissing of Summer Lawns." Joni Mitchell. Killer record. Oh, they're all great, but this one is. I remember when I first started listening. It's got that tune "In France They Kiss on Main Street," which is an awesome tune. So that's what I've been listening to. Jay, what have you been listening to?
I don't know if I should tell you this, Andy, but that just might be Canadiana.
That one?
Canadiana music?
You know, it's certainly part of
it.
Right?
Could be.
It's part of
Hey,
the DNA.
do you know a band called the Great Lakes Swimmers?
Yes, I do.
That is one of that record that called Ongaria. What do you know which one I'm talking about? Man, that record. I've listened to that record 500 times. That's such a great record.
Oh man,
Ongaria, I think something. Yeah, it's a Canadian folk record.
Yeah, I had to look it up because my buddy Tom Moffat plays trumpet on like every Canadian album, and I think he played with them. Maybe not. But I'm familiar with them, but not that familiar. I'll have to listen to that album.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Sorry, Jay.
No, I love this conversation. And then you said trumpet. I follow every single trumpeter that I can find on Instagram. For some reason, I have this goal to learn how to play trumpet better than it's rough.
You should follow. Actually, I mean, I'd say you should follow my buddy Tom, but I don't know what's on his feed. It might not be trumpets. So
I hear you. Okay, what am I listening to? Joseph Solomon. That's true. I've been on that. We worked with Joseph on a project last week, actually. That was one of the reasons why we weren't here. And then Jimmy World. I've been listening to every single Jimmy World record. We also worked with Jim Atkins from Jimmy World, and I challenged him to give me the best 24, don't know why, 24 Jimmy World songs in his opinion. So I've been working on that. And then Jawbox. I've been listening to a lot of Jawbox.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Jay Robbins is awesome.
Jay Robbins is a genius. Anyway, okay, let's get into the show. Enough chit chat. We're gonna welcome you back to the show. This is how this works. See, I have rules that I play by here. Tyler, we're gonna get right into it. Tyler, robotics engineer here at Taylor Guitars, a total nerd. We can all agree. You have said that you're a nerd. You're Canadian.
It's in my job title, like literally.
Robotics. I know, it's pretty insane. So we're going to go into that right now because a lot of people ask questions about, or they talk, there's these myths that Taylor Guitars is all robotic.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So let's go right into this very first question, Tyler, as we're getting to know you. What in the heck do you do here at Taylor Guitars?
So, if I had to say it in one sentence, it would be I design, build, implement, and support automation equipment. And so my title has robotics in it, but really anything automated, or I mean, really anything with probably electricity that's involved with manufacturing at the company I get involved in. I was brought on board to work with the robots, but we really don't have that many robots for the size of company we are. So to riff on what you said, we really don't. They perform very specific duties, and we will get into that. But so any kind of manufacturing technology I get involved in.
So would that be like T5Z electronics? So pickup electronics, also on the guitar side, ES2.
ES2. That's been kind of a new thing. Where just because I play guitar a lot and own a lot of guitars and tinker and things, I end up some product development I get involved in as well. Or just from a support side, someone will come to me with a preamp and be like, what do you think's wrong with this? And I go, well, it looks like it was hit with a baseball bat or something. What on the production side, like test equipment, so let's say someone goes, we want to test, we might have to swap out all the capacitors and the preamps because we can't get capacitors anymore anywhere in the world. How are we going to test this? So we would design test equipment or something. That's a hypothetical example that didn't actually happen. Thankfully.
Where are you right now? That looks like a nerd zone.
Yeah, it is. This is the affectionately called, or unoriginally called, the Taylor R&D Lab. And behind me are just a bunch of electronics benches and bins full of parts. And over that way is kind of an R&D area with a bunch of stuff that we can't see. So I'm not going to move the camera over there. And this is where we, more than just me, a bunch of people will, whenever we have to listen stuff, try things out, tear something apart, like breadboard a preamp. And let's say we want to breadboard a preamp, but also then play it through an amplifier and listen to it in a room, we do it in here. And actually, I should say that there's 2 other guys that work with me. We're building a team. So I've got another engineer that works here and controls technician as well. So, and behind me on the, where the, there's kind of a rack of guitars, is kind of a legendary figure named Terry Myers. He's not here right now, which is why no one's here. So I don't have a mask on. He's Terry's the I don't know. No, he's a legend. He's a Taylor legend.
He's been on the show. Do you remember when?
Oh, great. Yeah.
Remember when Terry was on the show, guys? Were you on yet, Lindsay? I thought it was like one of your first shows.
No.
Anyway, so Terry was so legit because his studio's in his garage at his house.
Oh yeah, his garage.
So he put his headphones on, and then he had like a toque on top of it. I said toque so that you would understand what I'm talking about.
Man, you're on. Yeah.
But he had like a ski hat over the top of it. Go back 3 seasons and check it out because it was awesome. Okay. More questions for you, Tyler.
Sure.
How did you get into robotics? Because robotics is in your title. So obviously you talk to robots. How does this work?
Yes, I do. How did I get into robotics? How far back should I go? In high school, I started programming in like grade 11, and in Canada, grades are by numbers because that's simple, and we like simple things. And I started doing programming to make games, and that was my goal. Was I was going to be a software programmer so I could make games, because that sounds fun when you're 16, 17. And so I knew I would go to university for computer science. And then I met an old man who was an engineer, and it was at like some university fair, and he said, well, do you just want to program, or do you like electrical stuff too? And I said, yeah, I like electrical stuff too. He said, well, maybe you should go into systems engineering and not just computer science, because then you can do all kinds of things. So I went into the systems engineering program at the University of Guelph and graduated there. And then once I went through all that, I realized I couldn't make video games. I didn't know how. So university somehow didn't magically give me the answers for that. And I grew up a little bit, I guess, or decided I wanted different things in life. And so not that video games aren't a grown-up thing. I still love them. And so I got out of school and I needed a job. So that was what started it. I needed a job. I had no money. Yeah. And so I applied at a bunch of places, and I applied at a box factory, and I had a job offer for quality control at a box factory. And I was like this close to taking it because I was really broke. And then suddenly I heard back from this robotics company that I applied at, and they wanted me to come in for an interview. And I went in and I met gentleman engineer who was there, and it was a much cooler place than the box factory. Although the box factory is a very good box factory, so I'll give them that, like pretty high tech and advanced. So they're really cool too. But the robotics company was cool, and we started interviewing, and the guy interviewing me was like, "What kind of music do you like?" And inside I was like, "Don't say punk, don't say punk, don't say punk." And I'm like, punk? And he goes, "Oh yeah, so like Blink 182 punk or like Black Flag punk?" And It was like Black Flag. Yeah. And then literally he just pushed all the papers off the desk, and then we just started talking about stuff. And he's like, okay, I'm going to tell you that. I'll tell you what. He's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get you hired. I don't care if you don't have experience. He's like, we're going to make this happen. He's like, there's some other people we're looking at, but I want you here. And so that's, I did a couple more interviews, and then I started working at this robotics company that was implementing simulation software for manufacturing for like high path intensive robot jobs. So like, let's say you had like a mold, like a plastic part that came out of a mold, and you needed to like trim off and cut the thing. So we would make software to work with that, and I would be the guy that would go to the factories and make it all work. Yeah, I did that for 10 years almost. So
how did you end up here at Taylor? How did this work? I mean, was this all in Canada, or how did this work?
That was all throughout North America. So I was traveling, like, usually I was like 1 to 2 weeks a month. I was on the road. Maybe at my heaviest, it would have been 2 weeks on the road. And so I've been to most places in North America that would have like a manufacturing center. And at one point, one of the San Diego dealers of the software that we worked with sent me some simulations from Taylor, sent me some parts from Taylor so I could build the simulations. And so I knew Taylor had robots, and so I just kind of filed that away mentally in my head, like, oh, Taylor Guitars uses robots. That's cool. And then cut to years later, there was some shakeup at my company. There was splitting, there was buyouts, things like that. So I was kind of looking for a way out, and my partner at the time, who's now my spouse, we've been together for 10 years this year. All right. Said to me, like, well, why don't you, thank you. Said, why don't you look at doing something you like if you're going to look at a company that does manufacturing automation, like, said, why don't you look at a guitar company? It was like, what's the one thing you don't get bored of? And I was like, yeah, guitars, amps. And so I just started looking at companies, and Taylor was one of the first ones, because I remember doing the simulation for them. And as it happens, there was a gentleman who used to work here, Steve Baldwin, who was instrumental in setting up robotics at Taylor, and he was retiring. So it really couldn't have worked out better, where Taylor really needed someone else to come in, and I wanted to change jobs. And Ed Granero, my boss, was looking to expand the role to be like an engineered automation and software and stuff role. So not just robots, and not just like the spraying robot, but what else could we do here with this guy if he comes? And I think I was the first Canadian employee, or at least the first one that like immigrated. Yeah, thanks. It always comes back to Canada. It's
yeah, it does always. So thanks for jumping on with us. We are going to play a game in a little bit. That game is called Name That Robot.
All right.
There's going to be some videos and stuff like that. So you should. It's not pass fail. Like, you've already passed. This is, ladies and gentlemen, in the feed here. This is when I say things like we stand on the shoulders of giants. Tyler is a really good example of a giant, right? These are the people that we have the pleasure of working with day in and day out. It's pretty cool. We work in different areas. We work in different buildings. We don't see each other every day.
That's true.
But there's so much talent here at Taylor, and Taylor all over. I mean, there's talent in the North Woods. You get to hear it almost every week. There's talent in Lindsay. I mean, but you see what I'm saying? This is an example of a giant. Robots. We're going to get into robots. What does that mean, right? I saw some great questions in the feed. Difference between CNC and robots, etc. We'll get to that in a minute when we go through some Q&A. Right now we have some useless questions I want to ask you, and then we're going to get into our game. Okay.
You got it.
Thanks for giving us that story, and we're stoked to have you here, and I'm glad you're the first Canadian employee.
I
Okay.
hope I represent my country with dignity.
You do. We'll get into that in a minute also. Okay. Useless question number 1. What's your favorite color?
Black. I know it's not a color, but I don't care.
Okay, great. I wear nothing but black. It's fine.
Yeah.
Mostly.
You can spill things on it.
Yeah, you definitely can spill coffee on it and no one knows.
Yeah, look at this white shirt stained already.
Yeah, I get it. I'm there with you. What is your favorite sport?
Hockey.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good conversation. 2 minutes of sports is going to be on fire. Do you appreciate curling though?
Oh yeah, curling's awesome. Curling is great. It's one of my biggest regrets is I didn't play more curling while I lived in Canada. So it's I don't think enough people do. It's amazing. Yeah,
curling's pretty rad, and I have some in 2 minutes of sports later in the show. We'll talk about curling a little.
Curling's also really fun to watch on TV. It doesn't seem like it at first. You're like you think it's golf, but it's really good.
Yeah. And like more so lately because like there's like mad style and like Nike got involved and
it's a whole thing. You get the personalities are big. That's nice.
Lindsay, yes, you're looking at me crazy. Nike's all over curling right now. It's crazy.
Lindsay's not sold on. She's not sold on this. I don't think she's buying.
I mean, I believe you, but it's an interesting sport for sure. The people
like
with the brush, right? That are constantly brushing in front. It's a very interesting sport to watch.
We'll walk through that in a minute. We're gonna talk. He knows about curling, so we're gonna talk about that.
I believe it. I believe it.
But like it's pretty amazing. Anyway, okay. What is a song you wish you would have written?
Oh man. Trans Canada by the Constantines.
The Constantines. See, Trans Canada. Yeah. It always goes back to Canada. I love it.
I know. That's a brilliant song.
Are you left-handed or right-handed on the ice when you play hockey?
Right-handed. Yeah.
Oh, we got a righty, Mom.
Yeah.
There's a few of us out there. Okay.
Yep.
Favorite guitar that you've ever owned?
I have them here. Can I put them on? Can I show it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I do that? It's not a Taylor.
No. Yeah. It's fine.
Okay. It's electric. Yeah. Here we go. So
he brought his guitars. That's so rad.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. So I've got.
Look at this. Look at this real quick. Even most Canadians don't understand curling. Just saying.
That's actually my father-in-law.
So good.
So that's great. This is a 78 Les Paul custom. I bought it when I was 26, I think. It's refinished, and someone did a good job. But you can the teardrops kind of messed up. Everything about it's messed up. The middle pickup that was routed by hand. That's just everything's kind of messed up, just busted on. It's got a 3-piece maple neck, but it's so stable. It sounds so good. I love this guitar. This is the first guitar that I got that I stopped buying other guitars for a while. So, and I paid, because it was such a wackadoodle thing, I paid I don't know, $1,500 for it, I think, or $1,600. So this thing's great. This was my main guy for quite a while. And I have all my guitars here because it was the holidays and I was gone and I didn't want to get them stolen. And so in case my house got burgled.
It's so convenient for the show.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have the first guitar you ever bought?
No, I don't. Wait, no, I do. It's in my parents' house,
which is in Canada.
Yeah. And they probably don't know where. Yeah. They probably don't know it's there. I don't know where it is in the house, but I've seen it. It was a Targa. I think it was like an Aria copy or something.
Really?
Yeah, which Aria made copies, I think, and this was a copy of a copy, and it was terrible, but it looked so cool, so that's why Like I bought it. I was like, I could buy a guitar that works, or I could buy one that looks cool.
I'd be with the looks cool thing too. What other guitars do you have? Come on, we'll take a little sidebar and let's see this.
So
let's do this.
This is my second favorite guitar right now.
Please be a Jackson. Please be a Jackson.
No. So this is a Firebird, like a 2005 Firebird. This thing's special because I bought it from Terry Myers, and Terry Myers did work on it. So that was worth, I don't know, $1 million to me right there, because he makes the best sounding playing guitars in the world. So
yes, he does.
Yeah. And actually we were talking about that, and I said to Terry, I was like, you might have worked on more guitar necks than anyone on the planet. like actually, because he's worked here for so long and made so many guitars.
I think
this thing plays great.
The four of us here can all agree. I mean, we have some amazing guitar techs. That's 100%. There's no ifs and or buts.
He worked on when I first moved to California. He worked on a Strat that I had that was kind of a parted out Strat a guy put together, and it looked really cool, but it just didn't feel right. And I brought it to him one day, and I barely knew him at all at the time because I was a new employee. He looked at it for literally 7 seconds and said, "You need to buy a new neck. This neck's never going to work."
Right?
You didn't slow me down. He's just like, "This neck is terrible. Go buy a new neck. Come back when you have a new neck."
It's what you don't want to hear from Terry, but you're like, okay, yeah, done.
We worked with a band recently who drops C, it tunes to drop C, and they wanted to play GTs. Right.
Oh, gee. Oh, no.
So they're like, drop C. He goes, in Terry's way, he goes,
yeah,
it's impossible, but I can make it happen. He's so good at everything. Do you have any more guitars?
Yeah. And actually that Firebird, I had no intention on buying it. Terry just had it on his bench. Yeah. And I saw the color. And then when I brought it home for my spouse to try, and then I was like, well, I need this guitar now. This is, I've got a 78 Marauder custom. Right. It's the super chunk guitar. I've been told, like, well, now
that's like one of my favorite Gibsons ever. Oh,
right.
I had a burgundy one a long time ago. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what one of my best friends has. We kind of got into Marauders at the same time. One of his got stolen. So I sold him my first one for cheap. And then I bought this one in Kansas City at the airport. The guy I was working at the robot company. I was flying out of Kansas City, and I was like, I'll buy that guitar if you can meet me at the airport, because I gotta catch a flight home. And so yeah, this thing was as cool as heck, and it's been put on the Plek. There's a rhyme for you today. Yeah. So this was when we first got the Plek at Taylor in our repair department. We put this guitar on it because it's, you don't see these every day. So we were like, well, let's try it on this. So, and I got one more.
Ooh, I like how they're all Gibson.
I know. I don't know why. Like,
no, I get you. I'm my next question in here that you haven't seen yet is it's going to come. Okay, go. Right. Let's see what you got.
I've got this is a it's a Gibson. Yeah, this was like my tour machine. This is what I played in bands for forever, and it's hard to see, but it's a Gibson Gem series, and it's the amethyst color. But there was actually a guy here who worked at Gibson when this guitar was made, and he was in product development, and he's like, that's not the right color. He's like, that one is way darker than it should be. It's like maroon, like smoke changed the color so significantly. So I think this is supposed to be pretty purple. So this was my favorite guitar. I put Lawler P90s in it when that started to become a thing. And they sound really good. I put a roller bridge on it because I kept breaking strings, and I was in Newfoundland, and I didn't know what to do. So I just put a roller bridge on it, like, please work. And then I just learned to play guitar better, and I stopped breaking strings as much. And that was much more useful. But this was my first good guitar. That was
I love it.
I've had that forever.
I love it. It's so good. We all love electric guitars. I mean, Lindsay, do you have any Gibsons? Or your Fender?
Gibson's? Fender.
Yeah. Okay. Your Fender.
Nice.
Andy, do you have?
I have other brands, but I do have other brands, but no Gibson. But I have like a D'Angelico. I have Fenders. Yeah. I have a D'Armand. I have a Heritage, but no Gibsons.
Oh, you have a Heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's this awesome. Is a total guitar nerd talk show. We got a question over here, Tyler? Question mark.
Yeah.
Will you buy a Taylor?
Yeah. Yes, actually, my favorite acoustic and my one acoustic that I have in San Diego is a Taylor, and it's kind of a cool one. Wait, it's over here. So it's an Academy. I love this guitar. This thing, it was a prototype that had Ovenkal veneer on it. So I don't think anyone else has these. I think maybe we made 2 or 3. So I got one of them, and this thing is just really broken in great.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I love it. I really, really love this guitar. I'm never getting rid of it, and that's that.
They're perfect.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing that out there. If anybody questions the Academy series, I mean, it's your go-to, right, Andy?
The nylon, yeah. I love the nylon guitar. I play it all the time. Yeah,
so beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm still waiting for actually Kyle, who used to be the neck manager before he had to move back to Michigan. He ordered the BTO that I wanted to order. Everything he put on it was what I wanted. So I'm still waiting for that, and it's going to be a Grand Pacific, but I'm going to get a Grand Pacific BTO at some point.
Trans black. Order. Okay. What black? Let me guess. Dot inlays.
Yep.
Pickup or no pickup?
Pickup. Yeah.
Yep.
I would say no, but I need to plug in now and then. So
yeah.
And Ivoroid binding.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it'll look good.
Gloss or satin?
Satin. Yeah.
Ivoroid binding.
Yep. Oh no! You know what? Yeah. What am I talking about? Let me think about this. I don't want to go on the record for that. That was off the record.
This is your order, whatever you say right now.
Yeah, it's coming off my paycheck. Well, actually, just if I don't know, a trans black American Dream GP would be awesome. I would take that in a second, just with a wood reveal binding. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it would cost me less if this is an order.
Okay. All right. Okay. We got guitars out of the way. I think we need to get into this game. Let's get into this game. We could talk nerd and guitar all day long. Thanks for bringing all your guitars in over the holiday break.
Yeah, it's when there's a guitar over there that's probably worth 3 of my guitars. I don't know. Anyway, they're not the biggest threat in the room if it gets broken into.
Yeah. So, security. We got this taken care of.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to play a game real quick. The game goes like this. We got 3 robot clips that we're going to play. We got some videos. We're going to play the game, right? It goes like this. Tyler, we're going to play the clip. Gabriel, producer Gabe's going to help us out here. He's going to play a clip of his choosing. So there's no order. After he plays the clip, maybe 30 seconds ish, 45 seconds of robot in action, you got to name the robot. I saw a question earlier, do you give the robots nicknames like Steve, right?
Yes.
Or whatever. So I need you to name the robot, even if they have pre-existing nicknames. I would like you to give it a new nickname, right now, what you're feeling. Name the robot, and then
they do all have names.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh, so now we're going to learn something new. Okay. That's you got to tell us the name, Steve.
Okay. Yeah.
I hope there's a robot named Steve is what I'm trying to
I'll give them new names, and then I'll tell the original names, and then I can explain why.
All right. Then explain what we're seeing and what these robots do and how hard they are to put together and all this kind of stuff. Okay. So Gabriel, please play the first robot clip of your choosing, please.
That's Artemis.
Artemis, that's its real name?
No, that's the name that just came to me.
Artemis. Okay. Artemis. What is its real name?
So I laughed as soon as you put that clip on, because I'm like, oh, that's the one robot that doesn't have like a funny name. It's that robot's just spray robot number 1. It's the worst one. We talked about calling it like Sneezy or but that was the oldest robot we had before our original buffing robot. So that was like the second robot we had. That just, it was already established spray robot number 1. We couldn't do much about it. And then the other spray robot is spray robot number 2. So we did a bad job there.
So how hard is it to build these? Like, do you have to create so there's obviously, do we get the robots already prefabricated or set up we know this one's going to be a spray robot, or do we buy these things in parts and then make them do what we wanted them to do?
Yeah, it depends on the application. And it depends on how much time we have and how much money it's going to be, and how the undertaking. So with those spray robots, we had worked with a company named Pinnacle Automation. They put together the cell for us. So in that instance, they did the robot and electrical side of things, and then we did the fluid delivery. And I say I wasn't actually here when that system was put in. But the fluid delivery is what actually delivers the liquid finish that then we spray out onto the guitar, and then we cure in our UV ovens. So we purchased the robot and the enclosure that it goes in, and the electrical system that powers it, and the sensors and the design for all of that. In other cases, we designed it, from the ground up or in conjunction with that company. But that's where that came from.
So how does that robot work? Obviously, you see, we put the guitar has kind of like a metal pipe screwed into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They put that onto the robot fitting of some sort, and then the robot does something. What is happening in that whole system?
Yeah,
I think there's magnetic something, right?
Close. It's electrostatic. So we're running voltage through the bell. I had to think about that first. I'm like, whoa. We're charging the fluid and atomizing it, so it comes out in a fine mist, and then the other side is reversely charged so that the particles attract to it. So the guitar is lightly conductive, not super handy power. That's a good name.
We're changing the name to Handy Powers. That's so
yeah. Good. Well, you know what? We have a project going on right now that would be very, very appropriate to do that with. So I'm going to keep that up there for that next one. Anyway, the guitar has a charge that goes through it a little bit. There's a plastic sleeve on it that's just meant to keep the finish off the metal post that's holding the guitar, because it's metal, so it attracts the finish. And so that's the whole there's a gripper inside that plastic part that picks up the guitar. So that whole shaft is metal, and it carries the charge to the guitar itself. And if we don't have that charge, it still works, it still sprays, but we don't get the same efficiency out of the system. So doing this, especially for thin finish, it would probably be impossible for that, like, to do it consistently. It's mostly for just using the material efficiently, which is both money conscious, but then also environmentally conscious, because you don't want to just waste finish or
Okay, Gabe, let's move on to the next one. Gabe, next clip. Name it.
Harry.
Steve. Harry.
Yeah.
Harry is close to Steve, kind of.
Yeah, that's Harry. Its real name is Buffy 3. Buffy, and we called it, it's very original. It's a buffing robot, but we called it Buffy after Buffy the Guitar Slayer because the very first robot we did, when this was before my time again, I guess it wrecked a lot of guitars. It dropped a lot and threw
a lot.
Did you ever witness that go down?
Oh yeah. I was here when we only had the one Buffy. You'd hear Brittany would make the loudest noise ever. But at that time, we had a lot. It was the only buffing machine we had. But so a lot of the finish department was doing most of the buffing by hand. That one would do like a first pass, but most of the guys and girls in finish were doing most of the buffing. And so occasionally, I mean, it would make a much louder noise than a person dropping a guitar at the buffing wheel, which also happens occasionally. So,
did you ever when it went down? Did you did you duck or?
Oh, it's loud. Oh, it's loud. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we replaced that. I don't know if we did it quickly, but that led to, we had Buffy 1 and 2. And those are the robots that were here when I started, and we wanted to get new ones because we needed more capacity and some other, more options on the new ones. So we took Buffy 1 and 2 offline, and we redeveloped them, got them refurbished, and set them back up for Tecate. So they have like a mirror image. They have Buffy 1 and 2 now are in Tecate, and I had to get those set up with Joe, who's my partner, who usually sits over here. And we made all new programs for the Tecate guitars for those shapes. And basically, we need to make a guitar program for different shapes. So if a guitar is a different color, the buffing program stays the same. But if we make a different shape, a new shape, like the GS sound port, that required a kind of complicated buffing program. Those are the things that I have to make. And buffing programs are like, I don't know, 3,000 points. I do it from CAD, so it doesn't take me as long as doing it by hand. But on the new buffing robots, I've made 50 some programs, and in Tecate there's 10, I think. And if a guitar drops nowadays, it's like a big deal. Like it's a crash report. It's a whole thing. It takes a good part of my day. It is a rare occurrence. I would go home sad if that happens.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah.
There's a big process behind it, and it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah. All right. I think the last time it happened here was like all power went out, and then it just like slowly dropped off the gripper onto the foam, and it was just like, yeah. So,
so Buffy, the not so guitar slayer.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Yep.
Harry. Okay, Harry. Gabriel, roll the next clip playing Name That Robot.
All right, that is Irmgard and Walda.
Okay, explain.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to pick German names.
That's so good.
So that one was cheating because there's a label on it and it says Epson Robot number 4, but we call those Foldy. So Foldy 1 and 2 because they fold parts of the pickup. And That was a robot where we purchased a large part of it, but we ended up kind of tearing it down to its studs and rebuilding it right from the electronics and all back up. So that system was like the first one that I basically built from like 30% complete to 100%. We've since redesigned it and improved on it. It's complicated. Robots are deceiving in that you can have a huge, like 3-story block sized robot, like welding system that looks complicated, but actually when you're using it's pretty easy. And then you have that machine that's like the size of my desk and it's pretty complicated. So there's a lot mechanically that's going on with it. And then we have 3 vision cameras on it as well. So there's a bunch of machine vision parts of it. It's doing a bunch of inspection. It makes our pickups. So it's trying to make a good pickup every time, all the time, all day.
It's pretty impressive. So let's do, before we're going to go right into some questions in the feed, Tyler. So as the show goes, Gabriel is going to post some questions up and we'll walk through those questions. There's a ton of really great questions.
All right.
In the comment section over here. But as you can see, there's always people that are working these robots. And why do you think, Tyler, do we use automation? In your opinion, if you could explain, if somebody off the street says, "Oh, you work at Taylor, you're the robotics engineer, you guys use robots. Why do you use robots?" What would be your answer?
Right. Number one would be improve quality. That's, it's right above our logo, quality guitars. That is always the impetus for automating something here. It's, wow, this would improve the quality in this way. So it's always, that's the starter. Quality, safety, and employee well-being, like buffing is hard work. So that was one of the reasons why we implemented that system to begin with, was to have less, it's not so much less human work, but it's less physically demanding. If you looked at our company and you looked at automation, and this is the same with a lot of companies, automation in itself is a tool. And so if we had never automated part of a job that people did, we couldn't have grown the company, and we wouldn't have nearly as many people as we do today. We have more human jobs than we ever did. And because of the work that the robots do to support that growth. So when we automate, we look for ways to grow things, to take away tasks that are taking our time so we can do other things better. Because there's lots of low-hanging fruit that you can automate too, so that you can, the high-hanging fruit, the hard stuff, you can focus on and do that more. And the attitudes that Taylor, like some stuff that gets automated literally is like people who build guitars being like, why haven't you automated this yet? Why are we still doing this? This is crazy. Yeah. So.
Yeah. This show has been brought to you by the Taylor Guitars HR team.
All right. Yeah.
I have to give a shout out to the HR team. They like Tyler just said, we have more human jobs than we ever have had at Taylor. And through a pandemic, we increased our headcount quite a bit. We're doing our best to get guitars at better quality into the doors out of the stores onto hooks so that you guys can get them. We do get questions all the time. Where's my guitar? I ordered it here. And where's my guitar? I ordered. And we've said this on prior shows, but we are working as hard as we humanly possibly can, as humanly possible. I mean, and Tyler, it's awesome having you on. It is, someone just said in the feed over here, it shows, the end product, the final product right here. Robert, the final product is impressive evidence of your work. Congratulations. I know you have a full team. And this is one of those episodes where we bring somebody in from the factory or from the production team or from R&D, and we get to know them. So Tyler, thank you for your time. hanging out with us. Let's take some Q&A. We'll have Gabriel throw some questions up. We'll run through a few questions, Gabe, and then we'll finish the show up. Cool.
All right.
Take it away, Gabriel. Tyler, Robert again. Tyler, are you? Oh, that's a good one. Are you a contributor to the mechanical aspects of robotics as well as the programming?
Yeah, good question. Often I am. So like on the buffing robots, we purchased the robot and the enclosure and the electrical for that. I designed all the fixtures, the mechanical side of it. That being said, we have 5 or 6 mechanical engineers, and I take full advantage of their knowledge when I can, but it all depends on the project. And excuse me, sometimes it just makes more sense if I design the parts. I have like a laser machine to left me, not a robot, but it's a machine I'm working on. And I did all the mechanical design for it simply because it's an R&D machine, and it just made more sense for me to do the whole thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Next question. What robots does Taylor use?
We use primarily ABB robots when they are 6-axis robots. So those are the ones that look like an arm. Actually, here we go. Here's a example. Although this is a Fanuc or Fanuc if you're in Canada. Or so this is a 6-axis robot, but we use ABB robots. ABB, if you're listening, please send me toys. I don't have any ABB toys. I have Fanuc, I have Stoibli, and I have Kuka toys. But Taylor uses ABB, and we use Epson Scera robots. They are 4-axis robots, and those have been pretty cool too. So, yeah.
Great question. Next, how do you decide what to use robotics on versus hand craftsmanship? Great question, TC.
Great
question.
Yeah, seriously, good question. Lots of discovery, discussion. Every day something comes up where someone says like, we could use a robot to do this. And then depending on, usually it's just difficulty. And it often comes down to geometry. How hard is the geometry of the part of the guitar to work on? Or variation. We have so many variations in our guitar as an assembly, like type of binding, type of wood. I had a thickness chart of wood and finishes on the buffing robots, just so we knew the stacking size of the guitar when it came down to like the different species of wood. It all factors into it. So some automation tasks are harder to automate, even though they sound easy. And people are really good at things. So there's some tasks that it's just, we'll never, ever use a robot on it. And it's usually in talking with production staff who do the job, getting them involved in the design process and in the problem solving process, and then letting them try things, and then R&D, trying a small version of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Next question. Tyler, have you designed any robots from scratch? Ooh.
Yes. At Taylor, not a lot at Taylor, but we have a robot that dispenses epoxy, and delightfully named Epoxo. That that robot I designed from scratch, and that's actually probably the only robotics system at Taylor that I designed from scratch. The rest we worked with integrators. I've designed other automated machines from scratch, but robots, that's just the Epoxo 1 and 2.
Epoxo.
Number 2 to come.
Next question.
Yeah.
Tyler, where would you say you gained the most of your knowledge? That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Robert with the questions.
Really good. It depends on what it was, whether it's programming or manufacturing technology.
The apocalypse.
Yeah. And every question has a, well, there's a reason. But most of the time it was working in factories, traveling. At my old job, I got to do different applications all the time. So one week I would be water jet cutting, and then the next week I would be laser cutting metal, and then the next week after that I would be spraying parts with like painting or sandblasting or shot peening. So I had to do all this different kind of manufacturing stuff with robots. A lot of welding. A lot of it didn't apply to Taylor, but it was all approaching automation problems. And then I learned a hell of a lot here too. Even though we make guitars, we have manufacturing challenges that are extremely varied. So we have a lot of different materials here.
That is for sure. Next question, Gabriel.
Ooh, wow, that's a specific question. I like that. I like electrical action. Well, it depends on the application. If it can explode with electricity, use air actuators.
What is an actuator for those of us who are not smart?
I have one right here. Whoa.
It's so good. This is fun. I'm learning a lot. Mom, punk rock does work.
That's left over a garbage can.
Punk.
Hey. So this is an actuator. This platform moves to different positions along this rail. So it's kind of like a robot, but it's programmable. But it only moves along one axis of motion. So it moves in a straight line, and that's it. I don't have my headphones on, so I can't hear. Sorry. There we go.
Got it.
If nothing else aside, if I'm just buying an actuator, I prefer electrical actuators because they're programmable, and they usually have force control, or you can make sure to get them. And especially in California, compressed air is very expensive. Electricity as a whole is expensive, but compressed air is electricity. So
if we played a game called What Did Punk Rock Give You? Like with our moms, like punk rock gave my mom ex-professional cyclist, a paramedic, and a baseball fan. God. I'm the baseball fan. So okay. I'm the lowest on the thing here. It's fine. But punk rock gave your mom robotics. It's so good. Anyway, okay. Sorry. Sidebar. Let's do a couple more questions, Gabe, and then we'll roll into Lindsay's question, 2 minutes of sports, and Evan's question, aka trivia. All right. Couple more questions, Gabe. Tyler, in your opinion, what's the coolest machine / robot there at Taylor?
Oh man.
Andy Powers.
Yeah. yeah, seriously. Just ask him to play something and it'll be exactly the same as the last time he played it. Oh, my glasses are crooked. Oh geez. You know what? The pickup tester that Eduardo built is pretty amazing. It's pretty cool. It's not in production yet. The neck inspection machine the neck inspection machine, I'm cheating because it's not done, but the thing, I just pulled the actuator off the table for it. That machine's going to be the best. It's a full-blown automated neck inspection machine, and I'm super excited about it. It's going to kick butt. So and I said it in public, so now I have to finish it. So
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Neck inspection machine that we don't have yet. That's not
correct. Yeah. How's that for a cop out? Yeah.
It's fair. All right. Following up on what you said, what are some of the things that are currently very hard to replace with a robot that humans do as well?
Right.
So well.
Good question. Sanding is one that is extremely hard. Because of the geometry that you have to get into, the minute force differences that people apply with their hands to give nice organic curves to necks, especially like heels and stuff. People move in organic ways because we're organic. Robots move in robotic ways because they are made up of motors. So yeah, I'd have to say like sanding and setups, because there's so many things you have to adjust on a guitar. That's like getting a machine to set up the guitar. You need so much measurement and then precise gripping. That feels crazy. And although it's getting better with AI, even just like doing inspections and like grading wood. I've talked about this with other people, AI people. Grading hardwood is extremely hard for a machine. Doing rosettes, like inlay. There's a lot of hard stuff. Our production staff are really, really good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They are. Gabriel, it's really far back. It was early in the show, but there was a question, Tyler, what is the difference between CNC and robots or robotics?
Oh yeah, good question. Generally, a CNC is something like a mill or a lathe that has a controller on it that moves in a particular motion, usually to cut material. I say usually because there's CNC machines that don't do that. CNC is just basically any computer controlled machine. So a robot is technically a punch cards, numerically controlled machines. That's a CNC. That's the history of it. Whereas a robot generally has a full-on programming language. CNCs run from G code, which is like a standard programming code for CNC machines, where robots all have their own programming language. And CNC machines usually have some form of a linear axis, where robots usually have rotary axes, like rotating.
Right.
So that's, there's some blurred lines that happen. There's gray areas, but that's the general difference. CNC machines are usually highly, highly accurate. Robots aren't really accurate, but they're very repeatable. But as always, these things are all getting better. So they're like, there's some sort of singularity that they're all approaching, and then everything will be the same.
Excellent. Thanks for answering that. 2 more questions, Gabe. Then we're going to move on to Lindsay's question. He's finding the questions.
I also used to be a Mastercam trainer, and so I do CNC programming occasionally too. So I'm kind of educated in that department.
Huh. Gabe, I'm going to get this one because I see one that I like. Where do you go to learn to land a career like yours?
This particular career is kind of I don't know. I had to go to like 20 years of punk rock suffering and gear hoarding to make myself stand out to be hired at Taylor. But if you're interested in robots or manufacturing technology, you could go through computer science or engineering or trade school, especially CNC manufacturing technology programs. There's some really, really good 3 and 4 year programs at trade schools, oftentimes far more practical than the engineering degree that I have, in terms of, actually building things. Not to knock engineering, it's great, we're the best, but but there's a lot of schools, like a shout out to Conestoga College in Ontario has a phenomenal manufacturing technology program. I would start there. Like if I wanted to get into this kind of work, and manufacturing is really cool. Not enough people know about it, and besides guitars, like everything that is made has to be made by something, and there's people behind it, and there's technology involved with it. So, and a lot of it's really interesting.
I love it. Hey, okay, 3 rapid fire questions because I see them and they're great. Ready? Rapid fire. First one. Do you think 3D printers will ever build guitars?
No.
Tyler.
I have a strong opinion on 3D printing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's for the second episode. You're going to come back. We have to have you back.
All right. That sounds great.
Tyler, is there a robot which can play guitars?
I'm sure. Actually, yes. Yes, there is. Not at Andy Powers. Yeah. Not at Taylor. We've always been like, do we need to do that? And then we said, like, you know what? You know who plays guitars? People. So why don't we just keep having people playing the guitars and determining if it's a good playing guitar? So that's one reason I haven't built a guitar playing robot, because then we would, it'd be like, does the robot like the guitar? And, and that, yeah. But there's a band. I don't know if Jay, you ever saw the band Captured by Robots?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was like 5 robots in the band, and they were all hydraulic, I think. Or hometown shout out, Author and Punisher, not robots, but he's like a man machine kind of
man machine.
Yeah, man machine. Who make really, really heavy music. And I shouldn't say hometown. I'm not from San Diego, but we both live here now. So
all right.
Yeah. Last
question, and then Lindsay's question. When will robots conquer the earth?
When? When does Skynet happen? Is it 20? Oh gosh, I should know this. When does Skynet happen? 1997. Oh well, yeah. I guess they already did. We might not have a lot of time. So,
we are all robots. All right, let's do this. Lindsay's question. Andy Lund, take it away.
If Lindsay's got a question, it's 'cause she wants to learn something about Robertson. Tyler, don't be too concerned.
Does he just make these up like on the spot?
Yeah, it's so good.
Wow,
He's so good.
Yeah.
I didn't know this about Andy. I just know him as being like an authority here at Taylor, but
yeah, no, he's
a resource.
So good at this. Okay, Lindsay, take it away.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, kind of piggybacking off of that last question. I think CES in Vegas, I think it was last year, they like revealed some very human like robots. I'm sure you saw it. I think I pulled it up. If you can see my phone, you probably can't see it, but they have like facial expressions and crazy stuff. So if you had one of these in your home, if you, I mean, maybe you don't even want one. Maybe you won't do that. AI in your home is not a good idea, maybe. But if you did, and they could only do one thing for you, what would you have them take away from like household chores, like cooking, cleaning? I don't know. Yeah. What would you have your robot do?
Oh, that's a good question. My boss, Ed Granero, it's a great question because it stops us from doing all kinds of high technology, stupid things. Is what problem are you trying to solve? What is the problem that needs this thing? And you can stop yourself from spending a lot of money on an expensive human-like robot if you're not actually solving the right problem. So what menial task would I need a full person to do, like a person to do? Well,
a dishwasher.
Yeah.
TC, what? Dishes. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it could be automated with a simple like solenoid valve, but the water in my house is very slow. Actually, I could just use like a recirculating system. And the water in my house is very slow to get hot in our bathroom. And so if before I got up, the robot would go and turn on the hot tap, but then save the water because I don't want to waste the water, because, especially in San Diego. So turn on the
Right.
hot tap, collect the water, wait for the water to cool down later while I'm at work, and then water the plants with that water. That's what I would have it do.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey,
Wow.
the Vietnamese
John just says beer me.
beer me.
Oh, I mean,
This is a robot that
beer me.
Hey, that's so good. This one's good too. Look at this.
I don't have a hard time getting a beer, that's for sure.
Thought the show would be boring. I was wrong. Yes, this is one of our greatest. They're all our greatest. The Vietnamese restaurant here by Taylor has delivery robots now.
What?
Yeah, that's weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they look like humans though? Because
No,
that's the thing.
kind
Those
of like
human
they're
ones
low.
look-
They're like low key human. Like they're like, and they kind of go.
That's
right?
so weird.
I can't believe
That's
that.
so weird.
I'm learning
Here's
that here. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing though, and then the wait staff or delivery staff comes over and then puts it on your. It
Yeah,
it seems like it's just machines getting in the way, but maybe they're effective.
Well, if anyone watching the show ends up like touring a factory, and sometimes like you go through, and I used to do this because I was in factories all the time, and you look at these like incredible systems, like, oh my God, this thing's amazing. This is incredible. Look at what it's doing, because a lot of times these really fancy automated systems are just a lot of money and really overdone. So, you know, it's
just flipping a switch.
yeah, exactly. Engineers get carried away.
So. All right. Thank you. All right. Next part. 2 minutes of sports. Let's go.
All right.
Hey, do you want me to play a clip? Do we need a clip? No, we don't need a clip. It's the basketball thing. Andy, go take it away. Your song. Go for it.
2 minutes of sports. Good times for football fans. 7 games to go. Mahomes can throw. Rodgers is in. Brady's in it again. Garoppolo, who really knows? Bengals 110. See you later, Big Ben. On 2 minutes of sports.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
120 seconds, 2 minutes of sports. Tyler, hockey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
What's your team?
Montreal Canadiens.
The Habs.
Yeah. When I got married, I married into a Habs family. My family who lives in Bromont outside of Montreal. I have to be a Habs fan now.
Were you ever a Toronto Maple Leafs fan?
Yes. As a child, I had a poster of Doug Gilmour and Wendell Clark in my room. Doug Gilmour was a little bit too pretty. Wendell Clark was who I really wanted to be. I shouldn't say Wendell Clark was very pretty as well. And I just wanted to be those guys. And then I wasn't good enough. And I stopped that. And then eventually the Maple Leafs lost me. And that's a whole podcast into itself. And I bounced around between teams for a while in this sort of like gray haze of my life, and finally landed with the Habs. I've never been happier.
The Habs. It's really interesting in Canada that there's so many Habs fans. It's incredible.
Oh yeah.
I have no hate for the Habs. If that was my Canadian team, I would be a Habs fan.
Oh,
probably
awesome.
Because I'm really a Red Wings fan, and I just need to say that out loud. I don't have as many Stanley Cups as you, but we have a few, so we're happy.
All original 6. Everybody mentioned.
Okay.
Yep.
Real quick, what is with the brush on curling? Tell us how this thing works. How does this work?
So you have to yell, hurry hard, and then you're brushing. That's the biggest part of it. That's hard. And even if you're not from Newfoundland or Labrador or Halifax area, but transplant from Labrador, you have to have the accent. Like that's just hard. But it's to now. Okay, hopefully I get this right because I'm not a pro curler. The broom is basically like the guitar robot buffing the ice, like it's clearing the snow away. I think it's disrupting the surf, like it's maybe creating small scratches in the ice so that there's less surface, less friction, so that the rock glides against it. I should have really looked into this beforehand. But when you when you broom it, the rock slides further. And so the more you broom, the further the rock goes. So if you think of shuffleboard, and when you throw in shuffleboard and it doesn't go far enough, well, then in curling, you have your teammates who will make it go farther. And then sometimes you have to tell them to back off because you're the skip and you know what you're doing. So you want the rock to go where you want it to go. So that's the broom.
I have no idea how curling works still, but I appreciate I that's what I guessed, right? I just truly enjoy watching it. And every time curling is on TV, I'm like,
they're just like brooming.
Yeah. Like the NFL, I'm not a big NFL guy. I mean, Lions, you know what I mean? But if curling is on, it's like golf, man. I'll just watch it for some I would watch curling before I would watch golf. But
oh yeah.
But what I like about curling is it looks like in baseball, you can low key be out of shape. Yeah. I think in curling you can also be a little out of shape. It's just whatever. All right.
You know, it's when I was a kid, they kind of like Smurler the curler made curling like a rock star sport. So that's what really like you were curling was pretty cool. So.
All right. We got 3 minutes before we
all right.
We gotta exit this exit stage left rush. Okay.
Yes.
Canada. All right. So we got trivia. We got Evan's question. All right. Evan's question. This question's a pretty good question. I think it kind of has you'll see what I mean by the question. So here's how the question works. Everybody, you guys know this. Evan, the only rule is Evan, Gabriel, and Paul Tobias cannot answer the question. Those are the rules because they know everything about Taylor. That being said, if you win, you're the first in the feed. Curling equals beer me. Yes. If you're the first in the feed to answer the question, Gabriel will put you on screen. If you get the question right, we will send you a Taylor Sense smart battery box. You just got to email us at primetime@taylorguitars.com. When they're in stock, if they're in stock, you'll get one. All right, Gabriel, warm it up, Chris. What is the question for trivia tonight? I hope you didn't put the answer in the, you know what I mean. Anyway, Gabriel, take it away. What type of maple is used for the back and sides of a maple guitar? So 600 series. What type
on the prime time part of the show is Evan's cue. He can no longer play in our game. Evan's cue. It's really just the same as trivia.
Still Steven, big leaf maple. You see why I picked this question, right? Toronto Maple Leafs, maple, big leaf, maple, back and side. Maple.
That's also the my real hometown Sudbury is home of the Big Nickel. It's big things from Canada.
And okay, still Steven, send us an email at primetime@taylorguitars.com. Thank you, Tyler, so much for being on the show. This one was great. The last thing we didn't touch on was why Canadians always preface everything with the word or the phrase, I'm sorry. We'll get to that next time.
It's a lot.
It's a long for a long.
Yeah,
they
got a lot to apologize for. So that's, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been great. Andy, my mother, sent me a text message that said I loved my birthday song.
Happy birthday.
She also questioned me about punk rock, which was fantastic. Tyler, she thinks this is a great show. great all around. We did
Jason.
celebrate my mother's birthday, and I feel grateful to all of you for that, for hanging out with us week in and week out. We'll be back next week with Aaron Dablow, sales manager for the Americas. We're going to walk through all of the new guitars for 2022, and there's like 45 of them. So
wow, it's
not going to be that long of a show. Don't worry. Great show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. Andy, take it away.
Thanks, Ron.
Sometimes you wonder what a robot would do if there weren't any humans to tell them what to do. Do bots get lonely and sometimes feel blue? Do they listen to punk or get deja vu? Are they bored with their jobs? Do they crave something new? A robot may wonder what it takes to be you. Sometimes you wonder if the robot is you.
And
what was it? What was it? It was prime time. It was prime time. What the heck was it? Well, that was prime time.
So good.
Tyler builds robots, and he builds stuff with his hands. He really digs his Gibsons and lots of punk bands. Yeah, robots can be deceiving, and Tyler knows it's true. But they improve our quality and safety measures too. Things you learn on prime time on Tuesdays. Good night, everybody. See you next week. Thanks, Tyler.
Welcome. And doot-doot-a-loot-doo.
See you later, eh?
Yes. Bye. See you next week.